And we are back here once again with another episode of the Cloud9 podcast, season 10, episode 23. And with this episode, this will conclude the 10th season of the Cloud9 podcast. We will be moving on to the first episode in the 11th season of the Cloud9 podcast, coming up this Thursday, 7 p.m. PST. And if you guys have been supporting the show, but you can't watch this show live, this is what I will tell you. Go into the links in the description box below. You can listen to the show on your favorite podcasting platforms. And like I mentioned before, I have plenty of content coming out for you guys. I've just been really busy recently, but the content that I have been releasing, I know you guys have been enjoying, and more of that content is coming. And I have so many ideas when it comes to the type of content that I'm going to be putting on the channel. I just obviously need the free time to actually do it. And, I haven't really been getting much of that. But everything is going to end up, coming together sooner rather than later. And today, this concludes the LCS 2024 Spring Split, and TL is the champion. Team Liquid have now won the LCS 2024 Spring Split, and they have finally won their fifth title. They've actually not have won a title after they had Doublelift, and the last title that they won was during the LCS 2019 summer split. And ever since 2020, it just kind of felt like they were like so close yet so far in winning another LCS title, actually, which is really interesting because, Doublelift was talking a whole lot of shit saying that TL should have really signed him. But, it looks like they can finally win without him. And, people kind of act like they haven't been close to winning a title without him. It's just been, sometimes it's been literally one game away actually from winning a title. I mean, the LCS 2021 spring split, they were literally one game away from actually winning that and going to MSI. But Team Liquid have now qualified for their third mid-season invitational. They were at the 2018 mid-season invitational. No, sorry, they were at the 2017 mid-season invitational, and they are obviously at the 2019 mid-season invitational, as well as the mid-season invitational this year coming up in 2024. Actually, wait a minute, because no, it was 2018. I was right because TSM qualified for MSI in 2017. In 2017, they actually had Reignover as a player, and that did not go so well. Yes, so Team Liquid, 5 titles, going on now 3 MSI appearances between 2018, 2019, and now 2024. And they did it with a roster that a lot of people didn't think they could actually do it with. What's super interesting is that they'd actually, failed with that super team, which is really crazy to think about now because that roster had some pretty like big names on paper, but just never really came together. I think a lot of people are finally coming around to the realization that, you can put together a super team, but if that super team doesn't gel well and can't work properly, then it's just not going to work and it's going to end up failing spectacularly. But we'll go over all of this week's games. But joining me here today in this episode of the Cloud9 podcast is Mr. Blanks. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Crazy. It's crazy because I was watching earlier and I saw Bustio pull out that Rumble pick. I was like, people say, "Oh, Rumble's hard to play." I was like, "No, I played him earlier. We lost because our ADC missed position, but I was able to get 17 kills with Rumble as a support. Mm-hmm. Pretty fire. I mean,
yeah. The thing with Rumble is, if played to the fullest extent, yeah, you should be able to win the game. Actually, the problem here is I don't really know if they should have been giving Busio Rumble support because Busio had shown he was really choking in today's series. I mean, I watched all the games. I watched everything.
I don't even say he was choking. He always been like this. That's why when people say,
he was choking pretty hard today. He was missing every hook. All of
he's always been like that. He's always been like that. I don't say he choked. I think he was. I think you guys just realized that's who he is.
No, he played good. I guess.
No, he played like shit. He's always been playing like shit. Played like shit last year. He didn't choke because he never
last year. But this split, I thought he was playing kind of fine for the most part.
He was playing kind of mid. There
like today, he was completely just. I don't know what the hell he was thinking.
But I seen this out of him last year, the last spring split, last summer split. I'm like, yep. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, yep, this is him. I'm like, shit.
Because I'll just say, because I'll go over Cloud9 later, because that's a different thing. Yeah. So Team Liquid beat Cloud9, and then today they obviously face FlyQuest. Now, people have been saying, well, you'll get an advantage if you go to the lower bracket because, obviously you can warm up on stage.
Reps. Yeah, you get more reps.
And then you could also use the argument of, well, if I can see what the other team is doing, that's also an advantage. Okay, so I want to make sure I point this out. Just because people don't exactly exploit an advantage doesn't mean it's not an advantage, okay? That's not how an advantage works, okay? So like in League, when you play a counter matchup to someone, you have an advantage. Just because someone plays out that counter matchup insanely bad does not mean it wasn't a counter matchup and does not mean there wasn't an advantage. That person just played out the advantage badly, right? I think there's value in both, but I personally would value playing on stage the day before than just going out playing cold. Now, I'm not saying to just freely throw series because there is an advantage and obviously not playing an extra best of 5 because, showing strats, jungle pathing, which are the main key points, right? But the thing is that playing on stage the day before, like you could, in theory, try out some like 1 or 2 screwy drafts, if I want to say that, right? Because that's not the finals, You could potentially test out a high-profile comp in some of the regards in the match before. The difference with playing on stage versus just going off cold like FlyQuest was is that Team Liquid already got acclimated to the pressure of the crowd. They already got acclimated to what style they want to play. Now, that is different in scrims compared to actually playing on stage. Both have their advantages. If you're asking me, both can work for either team. It just depends on which squad. Like, this TL squad looks like they kind of thrive off momentum. So, having the extra best of 5 was a little helpful for them, you know. But this is why I always kind of criticized the LCK format back then when you would just send a team to the finals and you wouldn't see them for an entire month. And then people would be like, but aren't they going to win? It's like, bro, this team hasn't played an entire month on stage. It would be very clearly shown that they would just not win. You haven't played on stage in a month.
Not always, because sometimes that team that played last night might be a little exhausted. You play. It's weird. If you don't play the month, you get rust. But if you play too many games consistently, your joints start hurting. You might be a little exhausted. You might, Yeah,
but that's not going to happen with this. They're playing on computers.
No, I think it can. Sometimes people practice and then they forget to sleep. Yeah, how was it? Some of these players say they played 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah,
they get 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, that should be standard, I think.
Yeah, it's like
dude, the people in the LPL are playing 16 hours. These guys are even putting in the max hours, actually.
Shit, man, you see how those teams be out there? Their game ones be the worst. Like,
oh shit.
Yeah, it's like,
well, where do we start with this series? I don't even know, honestly. All right, I'll just take it from the FlyQuest angle since they're the ones that lost. So this is FlyQuest's second finals as an org. They lost 3-2 to TSM back in summer of 2020. And then they lost today, obviously, 3-1. They had a chance to go to MSI last year, but it was through clutch plays from Licorice in Game 4 when they faced Golden Guardians, actually, that brought them into a Game 5. So this is going to be their first ever international appearance as an organization at the Midseason Invitational for 2024. Now, I'm looking at today's series. I really don't know what happened because I know people said there was that scandal that happened with one of their coaches being ousted as a map actually,
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's gonna thoroughly infect how
it
they play the
it,
game.
it could
Could
because the way that coach and Nuke Duck coaches are two totally different schemes.
because we've seen Nuke Duck coach 100 Thieves last year
Think about it.
coming
Think about it.
into summer.
Think about it. Nuke Duck let Busio make a lot of his old picks, and those were the best picks.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what the fuck are you doing? Why you go Rumble? It's like you know, this is what I saw from the 5 players.
Mm-hmm.
The age of the top 3 players started to show a little bit. Like the experience was there, but sometimes their decision making was a little questionable. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you doing this? Why is this? Jensen,
I really don't understand why they chose to keep Jensen restricted at the risk of propping up their bot lane, and their bot lane was not performing. Busio was clearly not performing well. Masu was clearly just like not
Nerve,
able to properly carry a
no,
team fight. Honestly,
nerves got to Masu. Busio, I've been telling you he was the weakest part of the team. Like I've been telling everyone this. No, weakest part. Him did Jensen. I think Jensen has moments he look good, but then you're putting him on safe picks. Like why you keep putting him
yeah,
on 80?
that's the problem. Is if as a coach, New Doug needs to understand if this bot lane is not performing at the moment and they are clearly cracking under the pressure, one of the bigger guys has to step up and you have to give him a carry pick. You just have to. They're clearly
Yeah,
not able to do it. And going immensely insane and giving him Rumble support. In game 4, keep in mind, you have to win that game to stay alive. Is like, bruh. And that's not even the picking Rumble makes it worse. It's like they picked a little to no damage comp to the point where they couldn't even take the Baron. Remember they were taking the Baron and it was like 6,000 health? No, that's
yeah,
terrible. But that's awful. Like Bwipo himself was having a really, really down series against Impact. Like Bwipo, I thought played fine throughout the whole split. I thought he played pretty
yeah,
good, if I'm being honest here. But this day was just bad from him. He just only game he played good was just game 2, and even that was there were some mad sketchy moments in that too. I just honestly don't understand what happened to the team to make them mental boom from their performance against Team Liquid not last week, but the week before that. And then you had them
yeah,
facing off against Cloud9 last week. And you're like
yeah.
thinking, they played against Team Liquid before. So was it just a bad day? Was it just a bad read? Was it just, hey, they just couldn't hack it today? And, at MSI, we'll see a different team. Inspired looked like he was just getting outclassed today. And Inspired, we know is a good player, but he was just running it all day, honestly. I swear, if you get Busio Nautilus and he can't even land hooks properly, it's like, I don't think that guy deserves to get Rumble support. I'm sorry. You need to just play fucking Leona or something. I don't
Yeah.
care. Like, if you can't land hooks properly, why in the goddamn hell would I give you a support like that in game 4? That's our tournament live, actually. And if we're looking at Team Liquid, Core JJ was definitely the weakest part about Team Liquid today because he also couldn't land. And it was like a fucking contest of like who can throw more hooks and miss, honestly. Or that one he threw, he
Yeah.
missed. And then there was the one he tried to throw again. He got locked in. No, sorry. He threw a hook, missed, got chunked out, then re-hooked, and then got his team to kill him. They got to just all end with him. It's like, bruh, what are we doing here at some of these games? But yeah, man, I'll ask you, what did you think about the games today, actually?
It's not a good showing when it comes to the international stage because when I look at these 2 teams, I'm like, yeah, they're both screwed. Like,
I don't know if these are better teams than the one we were sending last year. I don't know. I have to see them play internationally to make that judgment. But if Team Liquid can keep this level of form, I think they might be able to steal a game. Maybe. But that's me being purely hope at
they
the
have to
moment.
hide the fact that if smart teams know how to play against their mid laner, Team Liquid could do relatively well.
Mm. Like,
But
I don't
if they
know
start,
how I'm supposed to feel
if they
about this
start
team.
letting like Ziggs go through and then they pick a counter into Ziggs, you're fucked.
This is the
Like,
same situation that Bjergsen ran through when he would go international, when he would pick like Zillion. It's like, people gotta understand, he could pick Ziggs and ASOL here and win because it's LCS. Guys, don't let the casters tell you shit that they don't know. I like those guys. I do. But let's be honest here. I've watched his whole career. I have seen this guy. He's not that impressive. He's also not that good. The fact that this guy is basically just at his peak, like a 6th best jungler in the LCK, came over here and won is saying something. Did we not, if people are saying, what was the last play you saw of him before Team Liquid? Did we not just watch him on Bro last year? We saw him on Bro last year. He was okay. He was okay at best. That's his best. It's just, you know? Because today, I know we're not going to talk about those Jax engages he was doing retardedly, throwing his team the game, right? Remember he was playing Jax in game 3 when Whipple played Gangplank? He just kept running in and dying. Remember, that's a good jungler, right? You're not going to do that internationally. I know you will. I know you will pick Jax, not build tank when you're not behind, and then run into the team and just constantly die. That's not happening. I hope you don't do that, because then they will know you're trash, actually. Well, they would know he's trash. He left the LCK to come over here. So, game 1 was just a complete stomp. There was no redeeming things here. I don't think the Urgot pick is bad. I think you can pick it in some isolated cases to make it work, but remember what I told people? Pick Karma, lose. You pick Karma, you lose. I'm sorry. You pick Kai'Sa, you lose. You pick Karma, you lose. What is this priority with Kai'Sa? The only person that has showed they can even play Kai'Sa at a competent level in the LCS, God forbid, I never thought I'd say it. It's actually Meech. The only person that can play Kai'Sa at a competent level. Because Masu playing Kai'Sa versus Meech playing Kai'Sa is very different. Let's just say that.
The issue is Kai'Sa is not bad to this pick, but why are you picking Karma with it as well?
Very bad.
Why are you
picking? Is super short range. She's super outranged by Talia, Smolder, definitely Volibear. Not Volibear.
That's why you got dollars for flank. But why are you picking Karma with?
It's a way to speed up Kai'Sa. She's running in. Honestly, it's just that's really all it is. She's just a utility pick. She just shields and heals.
Then you don't pick Kai'Sa, or if you pick Kai'Sa, Karma.
Yeah.
It's like you pick Karma, but now you're hoping that.
Because what did they ban? So they chose Kai'Sa. It's Kallista's ban over here, so it's just 180C ban, and they only just obviously you take out Varus from Yan because he can't really get Varus, right?
Not even that too. Varus could be jungle. Varus could be top. Varus is.
Have you seen jungle Varus? Where have you seen that? Because what abomination did I just hear for? What? That sounds crazy. Holy shit.
Pretty much, it's just mostly for sniping. It's just sniping.
Oh, it's basically just a version of Ezreal jungle, but with like more easier lockdown.
Yeah.
Oh, but why don't you play Graves then? I would just play Graves then. I think it's just that's a better pick overall, though. I would just do that. But I think maybe Inspire should have played that because
because Vi was just too.
Vi is not a good pick here either. There's nothing
because you got Vi, Karma, and Kai'Sa. They're all short range.
They're all utility.
And
all utility, short range, low damage.
You can pick Kai'Sa and Vi, but not Karma, or you can pick Karma and Vi, but not Kai'Sa, or Karma and Kai'Sa, but not Vi. You can't.
Xayah
pick all
can work
three.
In this comp right here. You could pick Xayah here. You could pick Zeri in this. You could throw in.
I won't put Masu on Zeri with these two.
Hey man, DK showed us last night. Well, it's that game that I saw. You can pick Zeri and Yuumi. Just say fuck it. Last year meta is the meta for us. Oh god,
that's DK versus the KT team. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about them. Oh my god.
Oh, so yeah, this I could see why Team Liquid won. They just got FlyPlus just got draft gapped. This is just terrible. Like, why? What is? I just don't get the obsession with LCS teams and drafting Kai'Sa into a long-ranged comp the way that other teams would have against her. Kai'Sa's a short-range ADC, and she has to poke through a lot of people. And you have to put her up against Talia and Smolder.
Yeah, the Smolder part doesn't scare you because Smolder gets chucked out easily if you're.
And why is Smolder going through? Why is Smolder still going through? Why do people get free games in LCS? Just ban the champion. Just get rid of it. I swear to God, I played against Smolder last night for my first time ever. That guy is the champion. Is fucking disgusting.
I played against him earlier. We fucked him. I played Nautilus. You know, every time I've hooked him where my ADC was playing Kaisa, and we fucked him, and we barely won because our top laner stopped feeding.
If they want to go for a composition like this, they need to pick someone like Poppy then. Because if you're going to pick lockdown like this, because Vi's locked down, Nautilus is locked down, Karma speeds up.
Okay, go back to the draft part again. I gotta see where who are the first champions to go through.
The first 3 bands.
Okay,
that's Varus, right? It's Varus, Ziggs, Rel. Okay.
Okay. This is where FlyQuest fucked up. You let Cassandra go through. That's Smolder should have got banned. You know, from the 2 comps I played against, if you let Cassandra go through, Talia and Smolder have to get banned. They have to be banned. Yeah. At least one of these 2. Talia, oh my God, the walls. Fucking.
APA, I got to give it to him. He played Talia pretty well. Another thing, why? What is the egos will kill these teams, people. Why do people get champions like that, play them that well, and teams go, I'm not getting rid of that? I'm sorry. You just have to. If your team can't play against it, you just got to say, fuck it. We're not playing against Ziggs.
That's already got rid of Ziggs. And you realize, APN actually been practicing. Because you know, sometimes APN would get whacked and screws, but the Team Liquid will still win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, okay. APN's trash. It's like, all right. It's like, yep.
And then, game 1 was they just got fisted hard. Yeah. They just got absolutely blasted. This comp is a little bit more better with what I was saying. This Lee Sin, high damage early, Renekton, high damage early, Annie, high damage, Callista. Like, this draft is fine. This is something you can actually win with, and they obviously won this game because of it. Now, after this game, you got to kind of factor in, because even in the game they won, Team Liquid were still fighting them at a much more comparable level. Like, throughout the series, it was pretty much shown that Team Liquid were the better team. And even when they beat Cloud9, and they obviously, faced, who did they face before? Even when they faced FlyQuest before, Team Liquid, 100 Thieves. So they lost to FlyQuest, beat Cloud9 and 100 Thieves. It was very clearly shown that this is a strong team. At least for LCS standards, obviously.
Yeah.
Game 3 is just like, we're pulling out Gangplank? I haven't seen Gangplank in forever. Now, I don't think Gangplank's bad in this comp. I think it can work. People are saying Gangplank works something like Azir. To really get that level of damage he can put out, you have to get to late game. You have to literally get to a point in the late game where that can actually be effective. I don't know why they chose it in this comp specifically.
It made sense. The issue is you let Aurelius Sol go through with 80 Senna and Viego. They're getting burnt to fuck up against a blue dragon. Like, that's not Blue Eyes White Dragon, bitches. That is Aurelius fucking Soul. He'll take your soul. Like,
Blue Eyes is not a killer. Aurelian Soul is actually.
I mean, technically Blue Eyes is a killer, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. My question is, why did they put Jessup on 80?
Why was he just given Annie the entire series? I just don't know. We know he can play other things. But someone said he's historically okay on Orianna. I don't care if he's historically okay in butt fucking. He don't. Basically, what I got that Nuke Duck was trying to somehow limit them, yet give them utility and late game scaling. Well, I don't think this team has ever been proficient in any of that, if I'm being honest
here. We need to check his bank account to see if he got paid off.
Oh, Bucio got paid by Steve. I'm not even... Bro is sitting there with his $100 bills right now doing this.
Yep.
Bucio got paid. Ain't no way that guy wasn't waiting. That guy was throwing about as hard as you can throw. That guy was chunking it today. Holy mother God. Inspired just also... Viego's a fine pick here too, but... Oh, God, it's just... So many bad decisions from FlyQuest, and then Gangplank. In a comp like this, Gangplank's team can't really fall that far behind because he fell too far behind. Not going to be at the point where he can scale. And I don't get... If people know like Age Soul is also not a bad champion to play. Why don't you yourself play Aurelion Soul? Aurelion Soul used to be busted like what? Like not too long ago. You know? I told me Jensen can't play Aurelion Soul. He can't play Orianna. I don't. Oh God, man! Holy crap! Just completely terrible drafts today. Just all bad drafts. These are terrible. What am I looking at? Varus outranges Senna. Nautilus equalizes Tom Kench. Aurelion Soul destroys Annie. Jax definitely outscales Viego. Twisted Fate to Gangplank. Well, Twisted Fate just yellow card him. So you're not. If you are Twisted Fate and you run into Gangplank's barrel, you are a crackhead and you deserve to unfucking stall the game. Just literally gold card. That's it. Gangplank runs at you. Okay, cool. I have a card for that, and I run. That's it. Simple, easy. Also today, what I don't get why Whipple was so scared of Impact. Like, did his girlfriend blow him that hard the night before? What happened to him?
I think after game one, he realized, Impact actually play. Like, yep.
Don't worry, guys. Team Liquid didn't send this to me. Steve didn't send this to me. I bought this a while ago. I thought the jersey actually looked pretty cool. But yeah, man. What did you think about anything else you want to say about the series, actually?
This series doesn't give me much hope for both teams. Because the way I look at it is like, okay, why was the Team Liquid better in the regular season? Where they figured out stuff? Like, what took them so long to get to this point? Like, you know what I'm saying?
And this is the game 4 everyone's going to be talking about. So, I don't know what is it with teams here and the LEC, where teams are in a losing situation. Their top laner is probably their biggest strength. Because this happened with Fudge yesterday. This happened with Whipple today. They were clearly not playing very well. And then their coach is like, you know what? I'm going to give you a carry. And it's like, wait, what? He's clearly not like.
I get it. It's trying to give them confidence by, okay, we're gonna put this game on you. It's up to you to do. It's one of those. I know what it is. It doesn't make sense a lot of times.
Olaf is just not it either. Like, that's not someone you pick into that. Olaf can't burst down any of those guys, but Var is. When Olaf runs in, all you do is she just seismic shoves him back. Castante's not getting burst down. Poppy can literally just outrun him. Nautilus can just hook to another place. If he's gonna put Whipple on someone like that, it can't be Olaf. It just can't be Olaf at all. Anything else is fine. I don't care what it is. He could pick Aatrox. Aatrox is the champion you probably want for that. Or Rek'Sai top. That could have worked, honestly, if you want any of that. Not Olaf. And then also, the reason why he couldn't burst people down, guys, is because when those champions get items over Olaf, you can't do anything into him. And then guess what Jensen's on, guys? Annie. Just on Annie. Yep. And this was the part of the game where it was just so troll. I was just like, what the fuck is going on? All right, so they're starting Baron, right? Bustio is Bwipo is doing the right thing, I'll say. When you defend your position right here. I think is when do they have the Baron buff right now? I think they do. No, they don't. I think it was before this, actually. What's before this? I can't remember. All right, so there was a part of the game where Bustio was doing the right thing in defending their position on the Baron, actually. The big problem is he's too squishy and he can't really do that sufficiently in the game. Then, the other massive problem is this comp is also pretty low damage, if I'm being honest here. There's not much else here, you know? So, yeah, if I'm being honest here, Team Liquid just outdrafted them the whole series, outplayed them, and they were just the better team today, honestly. I don't really know what got into FlyQuest. I don't really know what happened. The bot lane was massively just underperforming. Inspire just didn't show up. Whipple also didn't show up. They kind of cuckold Jensen into only playing just Karma and Annie, and just don't understand it. I don't get it. It's just bad decisions. And it was a cycle of bad decisions, too. It's like, this doesn't work, so we just throw in. This doesn't work, so it goes like here. And then this happens, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And, yeah, Team Liquid, are your LCS 2024 Spring Split champions. That is it. And I guess you just kind of just go for broke in these game fours, picking Rumble support like that. But if you want him to have more impact, you just give him like you give Alistar, Leona, Rakan. Who was banned in this game? Was Rakan banned in game 4? Actually, let me see. What else happened? No, Rakan's not banned here. Alistar is banned.
Yeah,
you could have just picked Rakan here. You could just took the Ashe for yourself. Oh, they probably thought they were gonna go Varus Ashe, so that's fine. Yeah, you could pick Rakan here. That'd have been just fine. Just don't give him Camille support, because that would have been just terrible, honestly. Don't do that. Busio on anything. Like, this is the same guy that picked a 0 support in his first game and absolutely turbo ran it down. So, all right, man. What is the next thing you want to cover, actually?
LEC. Let's cover the first 2 days of our playoff, because we still got Monday and Tuesday this week, because they're putting all the games in. They're putting all the
first round.
In 1 week. And the first week, instead of spread it over like a day, they put it all in 1 week. Makes sense?
Yeah. Oh, I'll just say, everyone, on Thursday, we'll go a little bit more in depth with, like, I guess you could say an LCS 2024 Split recap. But yeah. I will say that, Impact's now won he's won 4 on Team Liquid, 1 on EG. Yeah, he's won his 6th LCS title at this point. Definitely a GOAT top laner, obviously, for the LCS. This is Umti's first title, APA's first title, Yawn's first title, and Core JJ's 3rd. So, there you go. And Spawn, who has been in OS, he's been with Team Liquid ever since they allowed, like, Australian residency. He's been the academy head coach. He worked his way up. And he's done pretty good, actually. Rainover got his 2nd title as a head coach, actually. And I know Steve's pretty happy. He paid off Busio to throw. Good job, Steve. Steve's money is just too good, actually. All right. I've only watched the first best of 3 from the LEC. It was SK versus Team Vitality. And good holy mighty God, SK just love throwing. What is up with this team in throwing? I'll never understand, actually,
The second game they threw. The 3rd game, they got the assholes. Diddy was all in that ass. Clapping.
I don't understand, dude. What is wrong with these people? Like, game 1, they won pretty convincingly. Game 2, Carzzy massively stepped up. I will give them that. Carzzy was just playing out of his mind. He's like, okay, I just carried the whole team. You guys are my bitches. I carry you, actually. And remember, we caught this man in 4K talking about he could just chill here until he gets that G2 offer, actually.
Yeah. He said he gonna get an offer over a hot summer. Sweet old Carzzy. Thinking he has a chance.
God, man.
Stupid motherfucker, you.
God, I love you Hispanic people so much. Well, Carzzy played really, really well in game 2 on Xayah. Really stepped up. Then in game 3, DOS just picked Camille support. Remember, this is your game to go to the upper bracket. Remember, back in winter, Team Vitality, for some reason against SK, they just play a whole lot better for some reason. I don't get it. Like, it just played way better against them.
But also, SK just throws a lot harder against them as well.
I don't know. Is SK trying to get me to have a heart attack this year? I don't know if they're trying to do this intentionally, but it's like, they could easily be much more stronger of a team. We know, I've seen it. But I just can't. Now they're at this point where I can't trust them. They're unreliable. Because I don't know if this was a real tweet, but I think Dom had made a post about so not Dom. His thumbnail guy made a post of a fake tweet. It's like DOS saying I should be executed for my performance, actually.
Oh shit.
Oh my goodness, man. But I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, DOS has just been not what they've needed. I think Izuma has been having a lot of issues too, as regard of like making the most proactive plays. playing under pressure as well. Like, oh, I feel so bad for Irrelevant. Actually, I'm so
Yeah.
like just what can you do if you're him at that point? Like, what can you do specifically? There's not much you can do, you know. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
Nitsky on a 0 in game 3 was just straight up useless. For being honest here, just useless.
Borderline criminals. Just it was like holy shit. Like
I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. So, they also ended up losing pretty hard against Team Vitality, and yeah, they're going to the lower bracket themselves. And they'll I don't know I don't know who they'll be facing. I have to watch the Fnatic in the games today, but I don't know who they're going to be facing. But sure, they're in the lower bracket. Do I think they can win lower bracket series? Probably, maybe. Do I think they're going to end up getting top 3 and going to finals weekend? I doubt it, honestly. What do you think, man?
SK's done. They're done. They're done. SK will get bounced out by Team Heretics. This is what I see is what's going to happen. I got Team BDS over Team Vitality.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me wants to say G2 over Fnatic, but I don't know. That series, I do not know. That's the toughest one.
Yeah.
SK over Team Heretics and Battle Lions over Giant X. Like,
what other games did we end up covering? Oh, so I finished watching some of these series, but there was the game we watched last night with DK versus KT, and DK pulling out Zeri Yumi. That's how you know you in some deep trouble in terms of like the team. When you're pulling out Zeri Yumi, Yumi had been pretty much nerfed to the dirt, actually. So if you want Kellen to just not int you, yeah, makes sense. Just give him Yumi. He can't throw the game if he's on Yumi, right?
Yep.
I mean, I hope you don't. I hope someone doesn't throw on Yumi, the most easiest champion to play. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the games that I saw. I mean, just the sheer fact of SK playing the way they did, I could understand why their head coach, just that guy is, from what I've seen, a decent coach from like his drafting, and you can tell he cares a lot about what they're doing. Just get him on somewhere else. Please get that guy a team. If all else fails to this team this year, make sure Swifer goes to a team. You know, I'm just sorry. He's got to go on to a better team, because there's no way we just sit here and just waste a guy's talents like that on an org like this, honestly. You know, like Niski is supposed to be that guy that steps up and is supposed to be that guy who's super clutch, and he was anything but clutch in those games, actually, you know? And that's gonna cover it for League of Legends for the most part. Now we can cover other things, actually. Now I'll ask you this, because you said I think in the show we took out before, you said you contacted someone and they were like, you know, there are like 6 people at your locals, actually.
Yep. Yeah.
6
we were
people.
talking. Yeah, and I was like, damn. I mean, there'd be times where it'd be 4 to 8. It was like, because Pokemon at that same store would be like 8 people, but mostly be kids, and it'd just be me and the main guy do a best of 3, and then we just judge the kids and just see how they're playing, make sure that there's nothing going on and all that. But yeah, people are just doing whatever now with like Yu-Gi-Oh! Adult locals. It's like, okay.
Yeah, because right now, if anyone's not been playing Yu-Gi-Oh, from my last time on the stream that I saw and the videos that I've been watching, only just still 2 decks. It's either just Snake Eyes or Fire King Snake Eyes. So it's any combination of that. That's it. People are also waiting on a ban list, like you said. And when should that be out, actually? Let me see if I can check the actual date. Because it usually, man, I've been keeping track of when these things come out sometimes because it's been so off randomly. Sometimes they come out basically like a week before the other one starts. Actually, that's kind of the consistent thing that I've seen. It's like if we're going off that, they kind of come out toward the very end of a month.
Yeah.
Actually, so the next so this is January 2024, right? So when so what? So we're on the list that's January 1st, 2024, right?
Yeah. I mean, technically, if it was every 3 months, the beta list would probably come out tomorrow and start tomorrow.
The next update after this will be in a few months. So, yeah, you're right. The ban list actually should be out fairly soon when it comes to April. If not this week coming up, actually. All right. Oh, now we'll talk about these guys. Okay. Let's go over this. So, for most people who don't know us watching this live, I'm going to do a video about Cloud9 and why they failed during the LCS 2024 spring split, actually. So, did you watch that video I sent you of Berserker going off on them, actually?
Yeah. I just watched
Yeah, go ahead.
I just watched it earlier. I was like, damn, oh my God.
I felt so bad for him, man. This dude's out here, he's trying so hard, you know? Got teammates just... I don't know. Okay, so how do you fix Cloud9? And obviously, I'll pull out more in this video coming up, but I'll keep it kind of short and sweet here. I think you have to make some roster changes. I just think you do, honestly. First of all, Fudge should have not have been here anyway. If we're looking at last year's performance compared to this year, right? So I thought he was fine in spring last year, but when it came to MSI and summer and going into just those two right there, MSI, summer, worlds, he should have been just straight up not on the team. And we know this. He was not supposed to be on the team. It was supposed to be Wonder. Wonder, obviously, it just kind of fell through at the last minute. So remember, he was not going to be on the team. Just something happened to the point where, Wonder didn't end up being on the team. I think maybe it's time to entertain that Blabber just probably shouldn't be the jungler for the team anymore. It's been the team's jungler since early 2018, going on full main jungler in 2020.
Yeah.
So, when do we entertain that Blabber's been a big problem for Cloud9 too? He's not been the MVP carry jungler for Cloud9 for what it feels like a year in total and some change at this point. What do you think, man?
Okay. When it comes to Blabber, I'm like, part of me is like, is he the real issue? Because I look at him like, I understand, but it's like, because I look at it, I'm thinking in my head, who would you replace? You know what I'm saying? Who would you replace Blabber with?
It's probably something they have to mostly entertain when this year is over. I would say entertain getting a new jungler finally. He hasn't, for me, lately been that kind of jungler to the point where you could entertain keeping him. Though I still somewhat doubt they would ever get rid of him. But something that I would definitely entertain. Fudge is for sure gone. There's no way he stays on the roster after this, right? There's no way this guy stays on the roster, even if they qualify for Worlds later on this year with him, which who knows what they will, given their up and down spring split. I just don't see a world this guy stays on Cloud9 anymore, actually. The bot lane. For me personally, Vulcan has not really been that kind of support in quite some time. I mean, he was with JoJo last year for EG in spring. That obviously didn't work out. He didn't work out on FlyQuest. He's definitely not working out on this roster either. He's had Danny, his recent ADCs have been FBI, Prince, and Berserker. And obviously, those guys aren't all dog shit. When FBI left Vulcan in spring, in summer he ended up winning. Prince is now obviously in the LPL, and he's on World Elite, so it can't really count for much, honestly. But and then you have him on with Berserker now, and you know what's crazy, dude? I factored in. They Berserker and JoJo have finished third place together for 2 times actually. E.g., last year they finished third in spring with the same win-loss record, similar, and then this year they finished third with Cloud9 the same. It's like I'm just going to entertain. These two don't really work out together all that well. They did, because someone said, but they worked out before with Danny. It's like, well, that's a different story. That's a completely different layer of context to apply there. For one, that was mostly Peter Dunn, and you also had Impact and Inspired there. Just saying. That was a big, big reason as to the reason why that roster worked the way it did. And then, even if you want to count Vulcan that year, when Vulcan went to international events like MSI, like Worlds of that year specifically, he didn't play that well either. Vulcan's not ever been good internationally, you know? He's been good to great, give or take which year you want to talk about the LCS. But yeah, Cloud9 being a massive disappointment this split. I mean, people want to say frauds. You can. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think they were, obviously. You could just chalk this up for, if you want to just put out pure copium, chalk this up to just a super team not really fully utilizing the players very well. And we talked about this before on other shows. The players just obviously do not complement one another. You know, the play styles do not work, actually. You know, I'm sorry, they just don't work at all for whatever reason. And the only way to really switch it up and make it better is if you get a new player or change up the coaching staff in some shape or form. What do you think?
Shit. I'm trying to think. That's a good question, man. Shit. What would you? The question is, what would you like? What do you think would be the best option for
I would personally, I don't like being the guy to scapegoat someone, but I would entertain getting another top laner to give Fudge some pressure. I'd be like, hey man, we're thinking about bringing up this guy. We think you've been massively underperforming recently. We're gonna probably start him.
Yep.
That would probably be the easiest solution. Jungle. Changing Blabber would be insanely hard. I don't think it's impossible. It should be insanely hard.
I don't think it's insanely possible, but I don't think it's the right thing to do as well. Like,
it's not the right thing to do right now, I would say. Because, you know, it's the middle part of the year. Might as well just stick with him until Worlds is over, if they even qualify for that. You know, JoJo, I think you can make JoJo work. There's no way this guy goes from like MVP of last year carrying dog shit revenge to third place and in playoffs to just looking the way he does. Like, come on. Like, it's obviously because he doesn't work very well with these specific players, you know? So I don't think the skill vampires just went in there and just started sucking this man off and sucked his fucking mechanics out of him, you know?
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that at that point, do you get rid of Fudge and Vulcan and get new people, or you just get rid of Fudge and then you see how the summer split goes? Because I think by the end of the year, I think everybody's going to be gone but JoJo. But then again, I'm not sure, because I look at it and I look like this team just don't work. This team does not.
Yeah, like work. Berserker's like straight up out here crying, losing his mind about them not trying in scrims as hard. Or I've also heard that they win a lot of their scrims, and it's one of, I don't know. I definitely feel for him. I understand completely where he's coming from. Like I do. It's one of those things where do you just go into a play style of we're just gonna play through Berserker? You could do what Yamato Cannon did back in 2022 Summer of Fnatic. Just put all the eggs into that basket right there and just play through him. That's going to be a very exploitable play style, but at least you get one, you know? Because people factor in, during the split, Team Liquid should have beaten them when they played against each other like roughly a month ago. Remember they had that super week actually?
Yeah.
People also forget, if Cloud9 did not win those games that week, they would have not made playoffs actually. There was a scenario where both Team Liquid and Cloud9 would not have made playoffs actually. So I don't know, man. I know people have been going back and forth on this. What someone said, would you replace Mithy? Oh yeah, I've been saying doing that for a while.
Yeah.
Mithy has not elevated any of these teams that he's been on for a while. Actually, remember what happened with the 100 Thieves when he was the head coach of them? They hit a
Yeah.
wall. They hit a wall. Cloud9 before, they hit a wall. With Fnatic before, they hit a wall. Anytime this guy's a head coach, the team hits a ceiling and they can't get past it.
Yeah,
honestly.
he's good. He's good at developing teams, but he's not good at making them hit their full potential. In my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't know how you get to a point where you can even make him work, because it seems to me that they don't really respect him as a head coach. Actually, that's just from the interactions that I've seen. Obviously, this could be just me inferring too much from what I've seen in videos, but doesn't feel like he has a good grasp of like what these players can actually do and what they can actually do together. You know, like if I'm being honest, guys, Blabber should be playing a whole lot better as a player. There's like, when people give that benefit of the doubt, he doesn't get that. He's been playing forever at this point. You just need to be good, and that's it. Like with the LCK players, the ones that are really good are always really good. There's no like, they very rarely ever have down splits. You know, like when's the last down split Faker had? When's the last down split Chovy had? When's the last down split you remember like fucking Keen having? Not a lot. You know, when you're a tenured veteran like that with skills, you just need to be good consistently. Because if you're not, then what? Like, I would understand if Sniper had these issues because he's brand new. He's new to playing on stage.
Yeah,
Blabber does not get these things. You know, I'm sorry. They just need to be good, or it's just time to start moving on. Like, I'm not that kind of guy to be like hanging on to people because we have some sentimental value. It's like, no, life's too short to be fucking doing a sentimental value bullshit. People think it's supplying when it's like,
but
all that
life
matters
is too short. But also with 100 C's, life is too short to get rid of someone too early. Because you get rid of them too late, you wasted time. But you get rid of them too early, and then they get better. It's like, was it the player or was it something else? And we didn't see it.
systems.
That's why it might be the coach. It might be the coach.
Yeah. And they only have one coach. Oh, they have two. They have Mithy and Vagar V2. And they have Kai as your team manager or whatever that's supposed to be, honestly. Yeah. I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be, honestly. Team manager of doing what? I have no clue, honestly. But yeah, Fudge has been hard regressing with those top lane picks. Remember how bad he was playing at Worlds 2022 with Fiora? And people were like, you know, he wasn't doing fine. He was getting completely clapped.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, he's the guy that's like, no, give me the carry picks. I'll carry the game. It's like, no, you haven't been doing none of that. You haven't been doing jack shit, actually. Last year at Worlds, he would constantly get the carry picks, and he had, like, I think one Rumble game that looked good, actually. You know? So, that's it for the most part when it's come to just League of Legends in general. I'll say more in this Cloud9 video I'm going to do. It's going to be fairly a little bit big, but I'll try and point out all the key various pieces. There's no way that they're worse without a menace than with a menace, actually. Keep in mind, they just actually finished worse without a menace than with him.
Yep.
And a menace looked like he could just eat the team. Just saying. So, yeah, man. Anything else you wanted to cover today, actually? How you been feeling about Pokemon? You said the new format came in.
Oh, no. The new format in IRL comes in this Friday. But real quick,
okay.
APA, the MVP, the finals MVP.
You're right. APA did get finals MVP.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just either him or Impact that should get it, right? I don't think there's any other people that should get it. I think both of them played very well. Like, that's the toughest part, is when people is when you have a series like that and both players are playing that good. Who do you give it to? I just toss a coin, honestly. You know, I think Impact was massive in their wins, actually. But no, like APA, he ended up stepping up in the playoffs. Actually, he turned his weakness into a strength, where he was only really good at like 2 champions, and then he ended up adding in Talia to that pool. Actually, I'm still gonna say that you probably should end up banning those champions out. I guarantee you people, like Korean, Asian teams will ban those out. Or they're just going to just straight up just beat you. There's going to be no in between, right? So, Team Liquid going to MSI 2024, and hopefully T1 gets to be there. That way APA can get his rematch against Faker.
Yep.
APA getting his rematch against Faker, potentially. That would be just... Hey, remember he said he's going to clap Faker? Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen this time around. He actually didn't even clap Faker, really. He played better than what we expected him to play, and then he still griefed the entire team.
Yep.
So, I'll ask you, man. Now that Team Liquid's going to go, you said you have no faith in these teams, actually.
I have no faith in both of them. It's like last year, but this is worse. Like, I'm looking, I'm like, did we regress? Did we beat EU and regress worse than EU? Because right now, I'm like, okay, we got G2 from LEC. But like, who's the other team that's coming out of LEC? Because I'm looking at it like this. Okay, there's going to be 8 teams coming from the 4 major regions.
Mm-hmm.
So far, we know 3 of them. Who are the other 5? It's like...
Yeah, because we don't know who's going to be showing up yet. Because the teams that... Let me go on Wikipedia really quickly. Who's going to be the teams for MSI, actually? Also, were the games from EU today complete shit?
The first series was complete shit. The Team High Radic versus BDS... was it? No, BDS? Was it BDS?
Yeah, I don't know what Warren was on where he was like, Peaches isn't... Like, no, Peaches... Guys, Peach is bad. I'm sorry. Peach is horrible.
The Team High Radic versus BDS series was a complete one-sided stop. Like, Team High Radic just... They did not look like... I was like, oh, shit, okay.
Eric, that's a team we're thinking that that's going to be some sort of a dark horse, and then you get these scenarios, you're like, what is going on anymore? A team that looks good, you think should win the series, goes into the series, and just gets defeated. And you're like, was my analysis wrong, or that team just overperforming? I don't fucking know.
The G2 looked... They played relatively slow in the first one, but Mad Lions... They can't miss positioning. Same thing game 2. It was like, yep.
Okay, so the teams only qualified right now are Team Liquid, FlyQuest, and G2.
Yep.
The only team.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. G2 at MSI. Oh boy. I mean, they should be able to beat these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know anymore. This year for League has been just so up and down and just a crazy roller coaster. You have a point.
I agree.
It's just it's so hard to predict for teams now. You know, last week, to be fair, we did predict TL to beat Cloud9. We did do that.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of the year before, where we said I think me and Sean, I said 100 Thieves were going to beat Cloud9 that week before. It's like when a team is performing that bad in that level of instant, I don't think that there's any way that they can actually fix it going into the next week. You know, because if you look at that behind the scenes videos that they've been having, they call it the comeback kids now. This is so fucking cringe. I like the other series name on Cloud9. It just sounded so much better. They already had an ongoing docu-series that was fine. I don't know why we changed those consistently, but that just looks like all hell is breaking loose. It's all burning down, you know? Sorry, guys. I've seen this stuff happen before, and this is not going to pan out well. Like, how am I supposed to believe they're going to fix all these issues going into summer? They're not, I don't know, are they going to boot? Even if they boot camp in Korea, it's like, I just don't know. How are they going to fix all these issues? How are they going to fix Berserker Vulcans? No synergy. JoJo and Blabber have no synergy. Blabber doesn't really have good synergy at all with Fudge. Mid jungle, support jungle are opposite the game. Just completely opposite. even though someone said, well, didn't Blabber play with Vulcan before? That's something I think Double have said this before too. Just because you play with someone again compared to before doesn't mean you keep that same synergy, because they end up becoming just a different player in how they see the game compared to before. So I'll ask you, man, what do you think's gonna end up happening when it comes to the LCS?
Okay. There's gonna be a lot of changes, of course. Easy, that's easy. I'm trying to think. Okay, I'm looking at the top 4 teams. I don't think 100 seasons are going to change anything. They might change support, but that's probably it. Probably. Cloud9, they have to, as you said this earlier, they have to get over the fact that no, they have to get it from their heads that Fudge is no longer good. They have to move on from him and get a new top laner, and then they got to start looking at the jungle decks. Because you got to look at the players that have been there the longest, and then look at how they got progressed. Because Blabber is smart, but it's like, it's the same thing the guy told me. He's like, you're smart.
Have you ever heard this thing called the team culture atmosphere is dictated by the veterans?
Yeah.
This is a problem that Cloud9 ran into some years ago when they had Sneaky, Jensen, and Smoothie, or just Sneaky in general, is because I like Sneaky, but when people see veterans on the team culture is kind of shaped and warped by those veterans.
It dabs all the time. It's shaped. Because it's shaped definitely when players are smart and they're veterans. They have a sense of, I kind of know it all, in a sense. And that's where
they're looked at as the leader. And since Blabber's been the longest out of all those guys, I mean, Jack would definitely mostly favor him in most conversations.
Plus Blabber he'd be every time he turn around, he'd be watching. He's watching players in Australia play. And
like Amenas said too. Remember in Amenas' Donzo manifesto?
Yeah.
He said Fudge and Blabber don't practice. I'm sorry. I know people don't like Amenas, but he was. I didn't disagree with when he said that.
Like,
I think the only time they thoroughly practice is when they go to international events.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
My thing is, it's like, what do you mean by practice? Because they also said Amenas didn't practice. That's mean it was like he played.
It probably means they don't scrim enough. They probably means they don't play enough solo queue. But this is the thing a lot of players don't understand is someone can play a lot of solo queue and find practice meaningless. Like you can practice, but just not get very good, meaningful results out of it. The reason why you practice is because you hone in your skills. I took Kobe practice consistently things that he already knew to be sharp at them. Sometimes when you're at that level, you're not practicing to get better at the concepts. You're practicing to sharpen your skills at those moments.
Because Amenas doesn't watch tape, but he practices.
Right.
Blabber watches tape, or Amenas doesn't watch tape, but he scripts. Blabber watches tape, but doesn't script. It's like,
right.
Because the key is you gotta do both. It's the whole thing. It comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon. Today, I was watching older games of people play Guardy while playing Guardy and understand how they did it, even though it's a whole new format. I watched the Japanese players. I didn't understand what the fuck they were saying, but I understood what moves they're doing. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's the same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! When I used to back in the day have to analyze shit. Like, Meta's probably was right when he said he didn't practice, but my thing is, do you know if you're watching enough tape? Because
the thing is, not every player can practice in a sufficient way that's beneficial to them.
Yeah,
because do you find it beneficial playing, like, I don't know, all these hours of solo queue, or would you find it beneficial in like analyzing lane matchups? I don't know.
Solo queue, because it helps me understand how to do the movements on the champions. Because the hours of videotape is going to tell me how to play against the player, or tell me how to counter a certain pick. But those don't always happen because you don't know if that's like, I can watch hours and hours of APA tape, but that only tells me that he feels comfortable being champion. It doesn't tell me how he's gonna move when, like, because it's like, oh, him being down 2,500 gold or 2 levels is like ain't gonna tell me anything. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing is I know Monty has said he doesn't really play League, but he can view it and see it in an analytical way. Now my thing with that is it's much different talking about Smolder than playing against him. Okay, guys.
Yep.
So anyone from an eye's view can go, man, Smolder's a pretty broken champion. Yeah, you would be right in your assessment. Now try playing against him. Your mind will think a whole lot differently about it then. Because, like, anyone could, like, watch something and understand if it's good or bad, obviously.
Yeah.
I would hope you can. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of bad people playing the game, but I guess we're just using that as argument's sake. It's fine, right?
Yeah.
My thing here is you get a better understanding of actually going through the matchup, doing it yourself, than, I would say, watching it, from my own personal experience. That's just me, personally. I think the issue is what is the. I think the team is just, first of all, I think the team is just mental boomed. I think they're just completely just. And there's just various ways of fixing it. You can make short-term fixes to kind of potentially close out the year, then start working on the long-term fixes for the team. Because as it is right now, guys, this is a flat-out disappointment of a season for them. And they essentially failed. I mean, a lot of people had them winning the split, or at least finishing top 2. Then they finished 3rd place with this roster, and they lost 3-0 in the finals weekend, actually.
Yep.
Now, some of the games looked a little close, but Steel were just the better team. And they were just a better team today as well. So, yeah, we're going to end up wrapping it up here in a little bit. Is there anything else you want to say, man, before we head out, actually?
Nah, man. When we talk about the LCK, fuck.
You watch all the games, actually?
I watched all of them. I stood up to game 5. I fell asleep back. I would fall asleep towards game 4. I was like, after game 4, I was like, okay, KT's gonna lose this, and KT needs to blow up their roster. This is a disappointment. That with that 7 roster, and you do what you do in game 5, blow it up. Everybody needs to get fired. You think I'm joking? Everybody needs to get fucking fired. Everybody needs to get evaluated. That was atrocious.
And the LEC should also, I don't know what they need to do. Just get all new teams, all of them. Start the league over. Not just kidding, guys. But I was seeing some fiestas last night. Zeri, Yumi. Oh god.
Yup. And that was an ass. That was a complete ass stop, man.
The game that I saw against Hamo Life versus Kwangdong, that game where they're perfect, and then they just start throwing. They just can't team fight. They team fight all the way up to this point, and they're like, you know what? That's where we stop. And Cuz is like, I want to go on vacation. Well, you're gonna get it now, buddy. Yep. All right. You got anything planned with your channel? Any videos coming up soon, actually?
Not scheduled, but there should be some stuff coming out. Yeah. We got, and eventually when we talk about this, we got to start looking at Konami and thinking, is Yu-Gi-Oh! Really in danger, or is something much worse about to happen? Because
I think it's a conversation to be had.
Also, did you know that there was a YCS today?
I did not.
Guess where the YCS was at?
Fuck. New Zealand?
No, Colombia.
Oh, hell. And they want us to care about the game.
Guess who was in the finals? Guess who the 2 decks were in the finals?
Fire King Snake Eyes?
Of course, that's obvious.
Oh, yeah? Okay, I got there.
What against the other deck?
Fuck.
I give you 3 choices. Not 3 choices. I give you 3 chances to guess. It wasn't a bear match. I can tell you that. It was not a bear match.
No. I know. I think I've seen this. I know I saw Cal Rancho store a post. I think I did a post on that. Fuck.
Yeah.
Was it Runic Stun?
Yes. Runic fucking Stun in the finals. A guy who had a $1,000 deck versus a Runic Stun that cost about $150.
And this is my thing too that I pointed out that people have pointed out for pros in League and people have pointed out for pros in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is you can play other stuff. You can. I just don't get why people just overhaul everything just for this one strategy, where this other one is just fine to play against these other one too. You know,
Runic's people already had it. That's why it got cheaper. The issue is in the beginning, none could compete against it like that was actually competent.
Yeah.
Every other deck missed a piece, it would just get chopped out. Flooreries, but then Flooreries will lose to his own self. You're like, fuck. It's like, you got an open shifter, you got a hope you have shifter. Half the time, I didn't even use shifter. I just DD Crow one piece and they said pass, finish their combo and it'd be shortened and then go another DD Crow. Fuck it. Sometimes you just gotta go DD Crow twice. It's like, oh, you play two DD Crows? Yes, bitch. I played two DD Crows. The issue that I've always said that the prices where you actually rate the rarity on cards, where you could have, you could do so much better, but they choose not to. That's why you just say fuck it.
Well, my thing here, dude, is what is the point of them even running the game anymore? If they're putting YCS as the biggest tournaments in Yu-Gi-Oh, which they've heralded as, outside of like going to nationals and winning worlds, they just treat them like that. The last one you said was in like buttfuck Australia somewhere.
Yeah, Australia, and it's like that one I remember. I was like, where the coverage at? At least this one has red coverage, and your winner is Christian Urena. I was like, cool. Snake Eyes Fire Kick. I'm like, am I supposed to be surprised? But you want to know who his opponent was? Runic Stun. Yeah. South America always going to have a deck like that in the finals. It's always going to be some kind of stun. Remember, the last big tournament that before Bayless that won down in South America was Mystic Mind. Boom. There are people coming in with $800 deck, lose to an $80 deck. That people don't got a lot of money down there. Majority of the people, the only person that got money down there don't even play Snake Eyes Fire King. He plays Brandon, and that's Andre Torres. I think it's Andre Torres. Yeah, he'll because I think he did play at the Pokemon Regional in Vancouver. I'm not sure because I know he goes between him and Kamal play Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Pokemon gives him money. It's like, oh, I could top serve 2 against $1,000, or I could play Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh gives him more clout, but Pokemon gives him more money. That's what
I remember. Yeah, dude, I was so surprised to see Kamal play. I was like, man, he's out here really just making the switch to Pokemon, or not?
No, he actually. I went back and looked back at it. I forgot he started playing back in 2019. During a turtle format, I was like, yes, I remember. I started going to my Pokemon, not the one in the city, the local I go to now. The local I went for Yu-Gi-Oh, we started guessing around, seeing that's why I want to play Pokemon, because it was like a turtle format got boring after Worlds. It was Salad, you know the 4 decks. It got boring. Because it was like no other deck can even compete. Like, okay, Orcus gets a little stronger. Sky Striker got slightly weaker, but still tier 1. Salad was still tier 1. Unchained wasn't really good yet. Like, I remember building the deck back in 2019, and I was like, this shit ain't never gonna be good. And it takes 4 years. And it becomes a deck I don't even want to play anymore. And then there was a whole one point, there was literally our local came down to 4 decks. Salad, Sky Striker, Thunder Dragon. Nobody was really fucking with Orcus like that. Except the one kid who did Sky Striker Orcus. and then me and the other 5 people who would play Altergeist. Literally, it was that 4 decks at our locals just, and then you got the one kid in the middle that's like playing Cyber Dragons, like, and the kid that's from time to time come play Heroes. Before, oh my god! And then the one weekend he beats us all is the weekend that Malicious Bane came out.
Yes.
That motherfucker beat it all.
Do you see any amount of top Yu-Gi-Oh players switching over to Pokemon, or do you think they're just going to be sticking it out? Because like anytime I see like regional vlogs, I still see people turning out for Yu-Gi-Oh events, even though there's not
no. Still a lot of people turning out for Yu-Gi-Oh because people still love Yu-Gi-Oh. It's the
That's the thing. Yu-Gi-Oh has this thing about it where you love it so much, even though you're not getting paid for tournaments. You just
I still love Yu-Gi-Oh, but I tell people Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't the first card game I got into. It wasn't. It was Pokemon. 1999. It was like Yu-Gi-Oh was the one that like maybe like fall in love with the world of like anime. It was because but Pokemon was the first one. And no, most people I know are going over to One Piece. A few went over to a few went over to Lorcana. There are some people who went over to Pokemon. They play older formats. Like it's not to say when I look at Yu-Gi-Oh format and there's like people who like play Gold format, Edison format. People play 1999 format, 2004 format. There's no real actual format. They just go by year, and I'm like, I was 8 years old. I don't remember that format. And I look at it, and I'm like, I've been playing this Pokemon in this era for so long. I can't go back and look at 1999 Pokemon. It's fun to like. I remember as a kid, but as a kid, I was mostly playing with starter decks until like mid 2000 when I actually finally built my own deck. Or this guy had this one deck he was using, and we all just built the same thing. And then we went to like tournaments and stuff. But it was like, honestly, I don't I don't look back at the old Pokemon formats like I do with Yu-Gi-Oh! And be like, oh, I like those formats. Like, if you do, you do. But I don't shit on them. I just be like,
those are formats you like. I think I've probably gotten better in other games.
Yeah, it was like that's why I went over to Yu-Gi-Oh! With Pokemon. What's Pokemon? The Pokemon scene down out my area. Everybody moved over to Yu-Gi-Oh! The older kids that were like 18, 19, like when I was like 11, 12, went out to Magic, and they still play Magic. Most of the people I went to school with that liked Yu-Gi-Oh! As a fan, I was one of the few people that actually stuck with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, because I actually liked the card game and anime. It was the only anime that was actually connected to the card game. Digimon wasn't connected to the card game. Pokemon's not connected to the card game. Like, it's just easy to play for Pokemon at least. That's why people are so connected.
I know you posed the question of, do you think Konami? I don't think they would ever sell. The problem here is I think there's people just kind of have to come to the realization that there's nothing they're gonna do to try to make it better. They're just super content with where they're at right now. And unless and this is what Rokiro said in my last one-on-one I did with him, people just literally would have to somewhat unanimously agree altogether to stop paying, which would honestly like hurt the local card stores more than anything, which would suck.
But the local card stores don't make it easier for us. And
I was thinking, like, are they even thriving off Yu-Gi-Oh? Like I don't even know if they're even thriving off Yu-Gi-Oh. You can pay the bills. No way.
Like I know one of my locals. Okay, I got 3 locals. I got 2.
We know comics and Yu-Gi-Oh don't be paying the bills. We know that for sure.
Not for the one in New York. No, it's Magic and mostly comic books. It's weird. When there's a specific comic book that comes out, that can pay a good chunk, but it's mostly Magic. It's mostly Magic, and that's in Pokemon to a certain degree. When they hold the vets The event itself is what pays because you're making about $400 a day just off the events because you did that and people got to buy product. Magic is what sells at like two of my car stores or the comic book car store. Magic, the other one Magic. Pokemon pays, but the issue is most people play there for free because they have the whole Pokemon League, but they can't really not have a Pokemon League because they kind of want that extra revenue from the tournaments, but no one wants to play in their weekly tournaments. It's like, I don't mind playing in the weekly tournaments, but you know, anytime I paid $10 one time because when I got back into Pokemon, I usually just went up there for the weekly tournament. I didn't go up there for the league until I realized the league was free. Play a game, trade, get a free pack. I didn't understand that too. I got later, once I got into it and understood, instead of coming in right at 2:00, here's my $10. I thought it was $10 for the league. It's $10 for the Pokemon tournament. League is free. I was like, oh, okay, come an hour 15 earlier, come out around 12:45, go play 2 to 3 games, or probably 2 games at least, trade, see if anybody wants to do the tournament, 2:00, go. It's like, boom, all right, perfect. And it's like, and then you're done. Yeah, because like when I used to go before, I don't go with my friend up there. Dad, when I'm done, before the other locals start doing their Pokemon League, as soon as I was done, get my packs, open some other packs, trade some more. By 4:00, get across the street, 4 or 5:00, and then take the bus back home. And it felt like a good weekend because it was like, all right, cool. And then Sunday, go to Yu-Gi-Oh! That was my weekend. Like, and it just, but then, like everything changed, of course,
So many formats, man. We've had I know I've been following certain Yu-Gi-Oh groups, and they're like, "This is the most broken format insert this year," and it's like next year, or I'll say even later this year, most likely. It's always usually happens.
Yeah,
we're gonna have another best strong deck. I don't know why people keep thinking it's not going to keep happening. It happens every year.
Tepe Dragon is coming out of the next set. And
you know what's going to happen next year? We're going to have another deck stronger than that. I don't know why people keep thinking it's like this is a new thing. It's like not been a new thing forever. They're going to make a constantly more powerful deck than another one.
I don't think it was the power level. It was partially power level because it damn near power crept every other deck again. But it used to be every 3 to 4 years, not every year. Like it, you know what I'm saying? Tournaments was 2022 going to 2023.
Like, that's about that's roughly about 6 months to a year.
From July to about February.
Yeah,
tournament in 2 ways. First, the regular tournament was tier 1, but not tier 0, was not broken. The season cards came out, tier 0 instantly. No other deck can be remotely played.
This video for Jetsy Khan gets recommended to me. He played like I guess Marine Cess.
Yeah, and then I remember who made a video about it. DPYGO pretty much called it out and said, "Do you really think this deck's going to do good?" I mean, it's a great deck, but it's like I remember I called him out.
I have to watch the video fully. I have to finish it, but I know he did it with the idea of budget because people keep saying, "Well, you can't play on a budget. You can't play on a budget." But that's the thing is,
you can.
Yeah, you can play on a budget. The thing that people need to understand is, well, are you playing on a budget and trying to win competitive tournaments? Because that's a whole different conversation.
And what's the level of competitive tournaments? Because
everyone's a bit different.
When you look at Jessica and people say, you can play on a budget. Yeah, you can play on locals with any fucking deck at locals.
Yeah, locals is free for anybody. Yeah,
it's free for anybody that wants to play. I mean, it does cost to play the tournament, but it's like because Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, every tournament, like the only store I know that actually like there was one store that allowed you to play for free on one day, and then you were paid for the other tournament. It was like
right,
but I mean, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh in a sense is
because like That's the thing for me with a lot of people, dude, where people just start. You see videos like that, and people are just talking out of both sides of their mouth. What do they want? You can or you make the two different disclaimers. You can't win maybe a high competitive event with this, but you can play this and do well against the field. Because what people take it as is, well, you're playing on a budget, but you're not going to win major events. That's how you should be making that distinction. You're playing on a budget. That should be that's not that should be like a revelation to your take. It's like it's built into your take.
But the misconception that people think is you could win on a budget. No, play and win are
like you said,
separate things.
That's the same thing that you brought up, which is like, well, what do you define as playing and winning? Because people have said, can you play? Because people's first initial statement is, can I play on a budget? Yeah, you can play on you can buy jank structure decks and play on a budget. Yeah, yes, you can. Yeah, like at the base lowest level, you can do that.
You can play any deck.
Let's be honest here. The underlying statement is they want to win.
Yeah,
people want to be able to play a budget deck and win. Okay, now then you need to also define what tournament do you want to win in Yu-Gi-Oh. If you're doing just locals, that's fine. That is a completely fair thing you could assess to yourself. If you want to do regionals, you probably want to play a better deck. That's what I'll say.
Because I remember, because we had the discussion this weekend. There's 3 levels of people. There's I fall in the group. People say, I think, and I remember someone brought my name. I was like, Chad is competitive. But I think his thing is he rather help other people get better, because he's one, like, I remember saying, no, because you're very analytical on how you would construct the deck. I was like, you would be like our analyst. I was like, yeah, I used to do that in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, because, no, my main thing is, but if I had the money and the resources in a car to drive, and, that, I would. I don't. Life is kicking me in the ass right now. But if I could, of course, I would go to all these tournaments. It's like,
yeah. Remember what I told you that was going to be our big video. Tonight I wanted to kind of start working on it.
Oh, hell yeah!
Like big things that this is a big video that's going to be in that project I haven't told you guys about yet.
Yeah.
This is one I've been cooking for a while. I've been writing down notes about it. I've been writing down not like a script, but just writing down main points I need to bring up, because a lot of people just don't know these things, and a lot of people are talking about these things as like they're bad, but it's like assessing what life situation you have will make these a bit better. So I'll give you guys a little hint here. It's almost the idea of playing Yu-Gi-Oh on a budget. It's just playing. I'm talking about just playing with some fucking friends. Then yeah, you could just pick up any fucking thing. You could literally go to Walmart right now and probably pick up those 3 trap trick structure decks and play. Okay? Now, if you evolve your mindset and you go, okay, I want to win. Okay, so what do you define as winning? You're probably like, okay, topping locals. Well, you can win locals with anything. Like literally, you flip a coin 1 week, you could probably just go and win. Okay, that's not.
Yeah, you can go win. It's like what you do, like, because the thing with locals, you're mostly not going to win the first week you get there unless you have a deck that is tailored to beat every single deck that is physically possible. And Trap Tricks has that skill because they play traps. Yeah. It's like you have certain cards that activate. It's like, yeah, not those kind of traps. Even though there's some people that got those bad, so I'm like.
And that's the other thing to bring up in Yu-Gi-Oh! Too, what people don't understand is like people kind of use things as like whatever deck is current, people use that as like the only example. It's like this is just universal advice for any format you could maybe be. This isn't just applicable to this one scenario, Yeah. Then, if you're trying to do better than just winning, like let's say you want to win a regional, top a regional. I guess the correct terminology is topping one, but
topping a regional.
Yeah. All right, so you want to top a regional, then you should actually analyze, well, what are the best decks? And then you can also analyze in your budget, can you afford the best decks? Because the reason why you need to analyze in your budget first, if you can afford the best decks, is because if you can't afford them, that doesn't mean anything. It's just you just shit out of luck.
No, if you can't afford the best, deck, can you afford the deck that could beat the best deck? That's it.
And then if you can't do that, then you need to go even more budget.
No. If you, and then after that, is can you afford the card that beat the best deck? Yes, now can you afford the best deck that can beat the best deck? Because, like, sometimes it's Floonery, sometimes it can be Voiceless Voice. Can you afford Voiceless Voice? You have to see what's the price difference between Voices for or Cashier to Fire King. If it's within 40-50%, okay. If you have that money to spend within a reasonable time, I've always said you should put, like, if you towards the beginning of a format, you should take no longer than 1 month to build an actual competent deck. No more than 1 month. Like when I finally built Thunder Dragon, it took me 3 weeks to build it.
Jesus Christ.
By pulling packs of Thunder Dragons out of packs and trading them, and because I couldn't afford Sky Strikers. Fucking
What's an Engage like?
Engage is about
$80, yeah, for one copy.
But then Borosaurs were like 70s. But good thing about me, I pulled 2 Borosaurs at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pre-release when they used to call it pre-release. I pulled 2 Borosaurs at 2 different pre-releases at 2 different stores. Pulled Borosaurs. I still have one of them to this day. Like, one of my favorite Link monsters of all time. I know I was able to build Thunder Dragon because I was able to trade, bought a box, I won a box and then bought a box, pulled about 90% of the Thunder Dragon cards I need. Plus, I already had Imperms. I already, I forgot to get Thunder by extra dragon. Let me put Thunder Dragon aside. I was able to get Altergeist. Because I was able to get Extravagance.
Yeah, I forgot Altergeist was a good deck at the time. Yeah.
Yes, I was able to get Extravagance. I already pulled 2 pot of Extravagance. I just needed 1 more. I pulled 2 out of 2 target packs, 2 different weeks. Pulled them. I was like, yo, pulled Extrav. I was happy as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Altergeist was the deck in 2019 I was going with the whole time. You know? Until they limited the fucking multi-figure. God damn it. That fucking hurt. That, I was like, why would they hit multi-figure? Yep. The good thing is I was able to play with Altergeist for like 3 months. Got a lot of good wins with that deck. Same thing with Thunder Dragons. Like, because Thunder Dragon got obliterated, but I already sold my deck weeks prior. I wasn't stupid. I knew Thunder Dragon was going to get burnt. Because I did have True Draco. I was playing True Draco at the time as well, as like for fun. But after Maryland, I stopped playing it. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. And that's the thing that people were coming to a conclusion with was if you can't afford the best deck, can you afford the cards that's going to help you beat the best deck? Because a lot of times, if you can afford a hair trap to the staples, but you can't afford
that's the problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! This kind of video is I have to kind of word it in a way that tells people both things. If you don't say it, then someone's gonna be like, "But this thing," I tell people, I know each format has its own fair share of challenges, but we'd have to go with what is the most applicable situation in every format. That's the most common one. Well, the most common one is that you have a best deck, then you have like 2 other ones that can beat it and all beat each other in some way of rotation.
Yep.
There's formats where you obviously have this one where it's just 2 of them, and both of them are kind of like mirror matches anyway, but you know how that works. All right, guys, we're going to end up wrapping it up here. Like I told you guys before, thank you guys for watching this show live. Team Liquid showed up big this week for the LCS 2024 Spring Split Finals weekend, taking down 100 Thieves 3-1, taking down Cloud9 3-0, and then also taking down FlyQuest 3-1. Team Liquid have officially won their 5th title in the LCS, and Team Liquid and FlyQuest will be representing North America at the 2024 Mid-Season Invitational. And coming up this Thursday, we're going to cover the LEC and the LCK and some more matches of the LPL, and then we will do a recap of the LCS 2024 Spring Split. Thank you guys for checking out the show live and catch the replay. And if you couldn't do either of those, make sure you could watch it and listen to the show on your podcasting platforms. Hope you guys had a great Easter Sunday, and we will see you guys later.